Hey, I've got some Christmas decor projects and some styling ideas, and I have just really enjoyed this bunch of things. Now we're going to start really simple. The little plastic, inexpensive garland beads that you can find at Walmart or Dollar General or anywhere. You can kick those up a notch by doing some pouncing. Just get some paint on your brush. That happens to be antique wax. And I'm going for a more vintage, weathered kind of look. And guess what? If you were to do these on silver and use the black and brown, whatever color that you can experiment with and get a result that looks like mercury glass, and those are gorgeous as well. But this year I've got gold and a little silver and red on my tree, and there's a close-up of what it's looking like. And my tree this year can be either all clear or multicolor. You can push a little button, foot pedal button, so you're going to see some pictures of my tree both ways in this video. These came from Walmart for $1.98, and I wanted them to be gold, but they are silver. So I just took my same brush with some metallic folk art paint and just added them to the top of my tree. The thing is, my star I felt wasn't big enough for my tree, so I just gathered a grouping of all kinds of stars and gold things, and I'm kind of loving it. This lovely thing, this deer, I bought in January, and it was, the tragedy of it was that it had a repaired antler and a broken antler for $2.99, and the brand is Mud Pie. I looked it up and it was dreadfully expensive. I can't remember now what the retail price is, but I saw this deer and I was like, oh, I need to make my deer look like that deer. So, tried some Gorilla Glue, didn't really work, I don't know. But as it turns out, those antlers are kind of hollow, so I was able to stuff some stuff into the antlers, and that helped the glue stick better. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the gesso in order to take some of that shine off. I just wanted it to look more natural. And you can see that the antlers are still looking pretty rough. You see my husband in the background there? He has no idea, don't tell him. So I've decided I wanted it all neutral, and have repaired the antlers, but they, you can see the place where the other people before me had repaired the one antler, and it looked terrible. So I decided that sheetrock joint compound smoothed onto it, but I'm saying smoothed. I've rubbed it on and left it textured because that's a little bit of a realistic detail in my opinion. So there's my cat, ever present, Tom Tom. He's my forever little shadow. All right, now in order to make, there's my favorite collection of stuff. In order to make a paint or a glaze that will give me that very natural color, I'm just using the white gesso, some nutmeg brown acrylic, some chalk paint in the silver lining color, and just kind of mixing that all up together just to have what I want is a warmer kind of a taupe color. I didn't want it to be just gray, but there's about 50 ways you could do this. All right, now I have mixed all my stuff up, and I'm going to just give everything a general coat. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be, solidly covered. You can kind of leave a few patches not exactly fully covered, because this is a more rustic looking piece. And I just went over it until I got it to look the way I wanted it to look. And you can do this on any sort of ceramic figure or a resin figure. Like, I have bunnies, have rabbits that are on my porches and back patio. And there is my sweet little deer. Purposely did it kind of patchy. I tried to do darker on the hooves and on the nose, and a little bit irregular on purpose. And this deer is resting on my vintage sled that I bought in North Carolina. And I love the flowers neutral so much better than when they were pink or dark rose colored and green. Okay, this is something that is actually easy to do, and you can do it with vintage ornaments, or you can do it with just plastic ornaments that you were to get from Walmart or the Dollar Tree or anywhere. These are aged a little bit already, but I did the same method of using my paintbrush with some antique wax, and I spounced onto those and gave it some vintage kind of weathered mottled look. That's easy. This is another ornament that started out literally plastic and silver, but I wanted it to look more gold, so I just used the nutmeg brown and just dabbed it all over with my paintbrush, and it turned out looking more gold. And that's brown. That's not even gold. That's just brown on top of silver. And you can see that the metallic still shines through a little bit. And that gave a really easy and cute result. All right. This is nail polish. I'm using nail polish to repair a piece of silk fruit. Or, it's styrofoam underneath. Same thing with the berries. Over time, they get worn out and they get those white spots that show the styrofoam underneath it. But guess what? Nail polish, it's the easiest thing, and it's very handy. I've used it on several different kinds of berries and fruits over the years, and I just thought, I need to share that little trick with my friends. I love this tree collar. This one is made of wood and tin ceiling tiles, but I found that image of ceiling tiles, and I sent the image to Staples and had them print out 4 on 11 by 17 ledger size, and then I just wrapped it using cardboard. And there's my little grand darling Claire. And hey, I'm on the ball this year. I've got my Christmas presents already wrapped. I never do. This is a miracle that I'm even wrapping it all, but I've got them all wrapped. And I love that is kind of blending in with the boxes. I would like to have an actual real tin ceiling tile collar, but until then, that sure was easy. Okay, I found these for $1 each, and I knew immediately that I wanted to put them on one of my Chinoiserie red transferware stools. And I got to thinking about what do I want to put, and I found all these cute little images of bottle brush trees in the cutest containers, and I just wanted to share those with you. They're all images from Pinterest. So cute. And I saw that this one had the deer, and I was like, I have some deer. So I had 2 little snowy flocked trees, and I did hot glue them onto the candlesticks. And remember, hot glue is temporarily permanent. It'll stay on until you purposely break it off, like just pop it right off. And so I hot glued the trees onto the candlesticks onto the tray, and I even put some hot glue between the tray and my ceramic garden stool because it was sliding off because the top is slightly rounded. That's tricky. All right, I am just sharing this print that I found because I have always wanted that print, and lo and behold, I found it framed, and so beautifully framed. Just beautiful. This is a project that I've had on my Pinterest board for 2 or 3 years, and I've been on the lookout for a display, a cup shelf display like that, and I found these two, and they were $5 each. I found them way back in the spring, and I could have been doing this remake for all these months, but do you think I did? No, I did it the night before I hung them on my walls, really. So even though someone took a great deal of pains to paint the little flowers on, that was not the look I needed. So Lord forgive me, I just sanded it right off. But it wasn't, it makes me wonder if it was some sort of print or decal, because I mean it came off with no effort, and I didn't see thicker and thinner brush strokes of paint. So maybe it was just that. You can see that I did use some watered down antique wax for just a little bit of aging, and I did sand down to the actual wood. But look, those are my cups. Now my Santas have little shelf cubbies to sit in, and I'm so excited about that. Those 3 prints came from Temu, and I do have stuff to make little frames to go around them, but I didn't get to that yet, so it's just up there just like it is, and that's okay because it's on canvas, and the canvas have, you know, their own wooden structure to them, so that's fine. But I have been collecting just vintage looking Santa mugs for a few years now, but I don't have the actual real vintage Santa mug, the winking Santa. That's on the bucket list of thrift finds. One of these days, I'm sure I could probably go to an antique mall and find it. Oh look, that's the tired Santa. I think he looks exhausted, but he makes me laugh, so that's why I have him. The big Santa in the on the left there, that one is from Hobby Lobby. I love this teeny tiny little Santa reindeer and sleigh. And there's what I call my woodland Santa, and he was too big. He didn't fit into a cubby. The Mr. and Mrs. Claus set came from Aldi, and the one on the left, my sister Lana gifted to me last Christmas. These are precious little glass ornaments. I really hope they don't fall off, but they were thrifted, so I hope they stay there. I did the tins in a video for Americana that was back in the early summer. Look for the link in the description box. I found these at the Downtown Rescue Mission thrift store, and when I looked them up, I was surprised at how valuable, or what they cost new. And they're meant to hold cards, but they're just so pretty like they are. I put some flicker candles in there, and I just am charmed by those. Here's another item that can be used differently than what they were intended. This set of 6 Pier 1 place card holders. I found my set exactly like those in the box, and I paid $5 for my set, and I hot glued a metal ornament hanger into that little slot that's meant for a place card, and they serve perfectly as ornaments. These little metal shades were stacked up without a string in them, and I paid 44 cents or 45 cents maybe for the stack of 10 of those little metal shades, and I just immediately brought them home and put them on a string of my own. I think probably whoever was pricing those didn't know that that's what they were intended for. 45 cents. Wow. I embroidered these last year, the two at the top, the pine cone and the snowman at the top. I thrifted, and then I came home and got my own felt and my own thread or floss, embroidery floss, and I just made up lots of patterns because I was charmed by those, and I really enjoyed creating all kinds of different designs. And felt is very inexpensive, and this is the kind of hand embroidering handwork that I love to do while I'm sitting in the evening beside Ben. He loves to watch the news, and we watch different series, and this is my calming work, and I finished them after Christmas last year, so that's why we're getting to see a close-up look of these this year. That baby Jesus was my favorite one. This was a screenshot of a video from Bridget's Primitive Passion. She's a great channel if you like old primitive things. But I wanted to recreate the greenery on that chandelier, and so I went to Hobby Lobby and found just some little picks that I bent into a circle and added some red satin ribbon. And I have done some kind of garland on my light fixture before, but that's above my dining room table, and it is very festive, very enjoyable, and kind of looks old-timey to me. And it's, it's a stained glass chandelier, so that's old-timey itself. I've always wanted a Christmas purse, and I've never had one that I really truly loved. That's just an example from Etsy. I happened to see this embroidery, and they also had just a plain picture of it, which I took a piece of tissue paper and traced over my tablet to get the pattern quickly, because I don't have the patience to wait for it to arrive. And I did the same with my initials, and I used a $2.99 tote bag from Hobby Lobby, and I hand stitched every bit of that. And I love embroidering. The inside, I used the red ticking with some batting behind it. I did about every 2 inches. I went down vertically to hold the batting in place, and then I just put it inside. I made the lining exactly the size of the purse itself and exactly the shape, and just put it in there and turned it under so that no seams were showing, and then stitched it around the top. There are lots of great tutorials about sewing. I can't explain it as well as some of these other channels do, but I can tell you I have loved using this purse. It's very soft inside. I love, it's like happy little surprise when I see that red striping on the inside. It looks hand done, and I want it to look hand done. Mallory was over here the first day I carried that purse, and I said, "Oh, take a picture of me with my purse." And she did a good job taking a picture. She got lots of pretty things in the background. Well, I hope you have time to do a couple of these fun Christmas crafts, and maybe you got some styling ideas from this video. I do pray that the reason for Christmas is very real to you, and that you can just imagine Jesus as a baby and feel the love that God must have for us in order to send his son to be our Savior the way that he is. I do pray for all of you, and I pray that you are very blessed and that God draws you near to him in this Christmas season.